Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, plus a for a big bowl of sugar, cereal, and our favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched The Legend of Zelda.
Excuse me, Joseph. Didn't we already watch this one?
Well, technically, yes and no. We watched it as part of our Super Mario Brothers Super Show episode, which was on YouTube, so you may or may not have seen it.
Yeah, you may or may not have. So, like, if you're part of the may not, go see it. It's fun. We've never done a video one before, so we just thought it'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was an April Fool's thing, right?
Yes, it was.
So even if you were part of the may have seen it, we only reviewed one episode of it back then, and I personally have already forgotten what I even gave it at that point, so...
Yeah, I don't remember either.
So coming in, and we're too good to watch our own episodes again, and so...
It's true.
Or just don't care for ourselves that much.
Both.
Yeah, both. And so this is basically a brand new review. So who suggested this one to us?
This was suggested to us on Reddit by Dax Longhorn, so thank you. And that's a cool name. You sound like some sort of bounty hunter.
That, absolutely.
Like,
that's what I was about to say. But like a cowboy
straight up
one.
Space
like,
cowboy.
Yeah, exactly. Country bounty hunter.
Dax Longhorn.
Dax Longhorn.
Yeah, like you would have fit into Cowboy Bebop pretty easily.
Oh, yeah. So the show Legend of Zelda aired in really only 1989 because it ran for one season. It's created and developed by Shigeru Miyamoto, the original characters were anyway, and then Bob Forward adapted it to TV, produced by Deke Entertainment, Cy Young Animation Co., and Nintendo of America. Ran for one season, 13 episodes. Well, I mean, it's as part of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, as we said earlier. It was first run syndication, so it aired on various networks. For a short synopsis, written by Tim Von Cloud? I don't know. Based on the popular Nintendo game. Well, hold on, let me spell it for you, and then you can tell me what you think. How you think it's. Okay. CLO. Okay. Then EDT.
Whoa. Claude?
Cloded? I don't know. Something's probably silent in there, and I just don't know what, so I'm just...
I'd probably go Von Clote or something.
Yeah, I'm just running it all together. Okay, so Tim Von Clote, which I guess sounds all right. Based on the popular Nintendo game of the same name, Link and Princess Zelda protect the mystical artifact, the Triforce of Wisdom, falling into the hands of the evil sorcerer Ganon.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, that is the gist of the show, I guess.
Yeah.
A little different than the games.
Well, yes and no, and I'll get into that in a second. So who are some of the actors who played in this show?
Okay, so there's only really 4 main actors to discuss here. So the voice of Link was provided by Jonathan Potts, who also reprised his role as Link in Captain N, the Game Master. And just to echo that, the voice of Zelda was provided by Cynthia Preston, and she additionally reprised her role as Princess Zelda in Captain N, the Game Master.
Except in Captain N, the Game Master, it was Zelda in a belly shirt.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. That's all. Thought I'd point it out.
So Sprite, the annoying fairy sidekick that every Link needs, was voiced by Tabitha St. Germain, who is currently the voice of Rarity in all the new My Little Pony stuff, the voice of Gotenks from Dragon Ball Z, and the voice of Rhonda from Alf, the animated series.
Oh, nice.
And finally, the voice of Ganon was Len Carlson, who was the voice of the character Swamp Thing in the cartoon Swamp Thing. Herc Stormsailor from Jace and the Wheel Warriors, where you may remember a certain bad guy. I can't remember his name. Do you remember what the bad guy's name was?
He was the leader of a certain power tool that I won't say.
Oh, man. Ooh, I wish... Oh, yeah. I wish I remembered.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered that name, but I guess I don't.
Nope.
He was also the voice of the Green Giant and all of the Jolly Green Giant commercials for vegetables. He'd be like, oh, Green Giant.
Yep.
That thing. He just said the Green Giant part, or no, the ho part. I don't know. Hey, I don't know what's happening. These are our cast.
All right. So for a few tasty Mario sponsors of our big bowl of Legend of Zelda cereal, many of the sound effects in this cartoon, Link shooting his sword, Link killing the monsters, items dropping on the ground, etc., are the same sound effects almost verbatim from Legend of Zelda 1986 video game. So that's cool.
That is cool.
Since the show is based on the original video game, it only has 2 Triforce pieces. The Triforce of Courage didn't exist until Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. So technically there were only 2 Triforce in the... So it's interesting that they were called the Triforce at all, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, other than it's like a triangle, so try.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man.
So
like,
maybe...
the idea
So maybe
weird.
in the second game, they're like, you know what? Since it's called the Triforce, maybe we should have 3 of them. So, like, when you look at this show and you're like, why is there only 2 Triforce? That's why. Because it's based on the source material, which is the game. Also, why is Link's hair brown? Because it is in the first game. So stop complaining, fanboys.
Everyone calm down.
Chill.
It'll be okay.
It's okay.
Link was retconned. Everyone just chill.
Yeah.
You know? It is weird, though, like, just the idea of there's 2 different Triforces, and they aren't pieces here. You know, they are their own things.
Right. And I looked at the cover image of the original Legend of Zelda to see, because I was like, because when you think Triforce, or when you think Zelda in general, you think that symbol of the Triforce where it's the triangle with the other triangle cut out the middle of it, basically the 3 triangles put together. And so I looked at it and it's just a single yellow triangle or golden triangle in there. So it's like, oh, wow. Yeah. Like I never would have noticed that had it not been for going back to this show, I guess. Because I don't think I've played the first one. Have you?
I don't think I have either, actually. I've definitely watched a few playthroughs of it from various streamers, but I don't think I've actually done it myself. But it's funny you say that, though, because we just found an original NES in storage, and I went to the store and literally just picked up the first one.
Oh, nice. Well, now you have no excuse. Play it. Tell me how it is.
No excuse. I will play it.
And lastly, Link's catchphrase, "Excuse me, princess," is based on an imitation of Steve Martin's, "Well, excuse me."
Oh, dang it, Steve.
Yeah.
Why'd you go and ruin Zelda?
So if you're complaining about Link saying that, you can thank Steve Martin for it.
I'm going to thank him with a glove to his face as I challenge him to a duel.
Oh, like a slap across the face with the glove. Got it.
That's the proper way to do it, right? That's a gentleman's game.
Yeah, of course.
Is to use, you pull off the white glove and you slap someone in the face with it. And that's the gentlemanly way to say, I've got beef.
I've got beef. So what are your memories of this show? Like, surely you watched it back in the day.
Yeah, I've got some vague memories of it. I didn't remember a whole lot aside from Link's awful catchphrase. And like just some general memories of the characters drawn that particular way themselves. And that's about it. I paid more attention at the time as a kid to the Mario Brothers stuff than I did the Zelda stuff, because I played the Mario stuff first.
Yeah, and I think that for me, it was kind of the same, because it was like the Zelda episodes were so few and far between that maybe it was just coincidental that I just caught the Mario episodes more often, the cartoon version. And plus there was like 2 versions of that. There was the original Mario Brothers one, and then wasn't there like a Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon to follow up with it?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that one's way better, and please someone just recommend that one. Please, I really want to do it.
We'll watch it eventually, I'm sure.
Yay.
So yeah, but it's like my exposure to this one was much less than the Mario cartoon, so I don't have a lot of familiarity with it. Obviously the catchphrase, because you can't be, a children of the 80s and not know that. A child of the 80s and not know that. And
a children of
the yeah. And yeah, but I remember I liked it okay. Well, I'm not even going to say what I thought of it yet, until we jump into it. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode of today's show. The very first episode, High Shred episode, Find Every Random or Chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes follow chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode, which was The Ringer, Season 1, Episode 1. When Ganon learns there is to be an amateur magician's contest in the castle of Hyrule, he sees his chance. But I'm not going to read the rest of this because there's so
like that.
There's so much.
His chance.
He sees his chance. Basically, he sees his chance to come in and take over Hyrule.
Take the Triforce.
Take the Triforce, right.
Yeah. No, he just sees that dog from Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
hey, chance. Yeah.
I heard you were missing.
Yeah, so to set us off, like as we jump into it, it gives us a brief intro that kind of it literally explains what is going on in the story. So they have the Triforce of Wisdom and Castle of Hyrule, and that's why Link's there literally to protect it. And he is sour because he wants the adventurous life. He hates being stuck in the castle, and he's just in this tower across from Zelda's, but in such a way that he can look over or look down and see Zelda and often spies on her.
Well, I mean, we can totally just, like, he's perving. He's looking down her dress, basically.
Well, I mean, that's him this entire series. Like, Link is a total perv.
And this is the big problem of this show, because it would have gotten so much more points and may have lasted longer, even apart from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, which wasn't the best. This could have stood on its own, if not for Link, because in this, for whatever reason, they were like, hey, you know that character that you play in the game? So really, I mean, the only personality that would be put upon him is just what the player's thinking in his head. Let's take that and make him the most, like, the least likable person that we can make. And they accomplished it by making him a pervert and making him ungrateful and making him just pretty much a bully, like a jerk to everybody.
But he is talented, at least. He's a good fighter.
Most of the time. I don't know, though. Like, so as we watch these episodes, I kind of noticed that Zelda tended to save the situation way more often than Link did.
And I think truly, as we watched the episodes more, it turned out that a lot of it was luck. Like, they should have lost on many occasions, if not for the ineptitude of the enemies.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems I have with this show, too, is because, I mean, it's Link, man, and they made Link just a complete idiot, you know, just not complete idiot, but yeah, he does win a lot of situations via luck or because Zelda's the one that does the heavy lifting. Well, sometimes literally.
Yeah, I mean, he literally says that he used to be an adventurer and travel the world or travel the land of Hyrule or whatever, and sleep in mud and stuff. And so like a real hero's life. And I'm just wondering like how old he's supposed to be here, because the way he acts is like a teenager. So I'm thinking that's what he's supposed to be.
I guess, but yeah, he still sucks.
So on Ganon's side of things, like he has the Triforce of Power, and he's just trying to get the other one. I guess when they're united, the two Triforce, like, it gives you enough power to take over Hyrule. Neither of them really seem to do anything on their own.
Talk sometimes.
They talk. Yeah, they give advice. Or the Wisdom one does. The Power one just like...
The Power one had like one line, I think, in one of the episodes, and it was like, you know, it sounded evil.
Yeah. It's pretty evil.
Evil Triforce.
Yeah.
And it's red, so I think that's supposed to basically be the color of evil.
Sure. So Ganon has this, like, in his lair, there's this big evil jar, and that's where he pulls his minions from.
It's so weird. Yeah, I don't get the jar thing.
I didn't get it either. I thought it was just like a pocket dimension or something, but then they literally call it the evil jar. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess they're all just in there.
I was confused too, because I guess, well, I mean, I figured out from the episode after this that like once an enemy is defeated, because it typically disappears instead of, you know, you seeing it die, it reappears inside the jar.
Right.
So this happens to Ganon later, and he ends up trapped in his own jar.
Well, here's what I'm wondering on that end. Okay, I mean, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but I won't give the context exactly. But you know how the others are let out of the jar at some point?
Yeah.
If they have to be let out of the jar, how did Ganon get out of the jar? Did someone let him out? Or, like, are you trapped in there until someone opens it and lets you out?
I think you're pretty much trapped until someone opens it, because he always has to open it to let his minions out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just has loyal jar openers or something.
There's just an evil can opener laying around.
Yeah.
Opening it up every time he gets trapped in there.
So what else happened in this one? So there's a lot of excuse me princesses.
And they use that at times where it's uncalled for. Like, you can tell they just really wanted that phrase to go over with the crowd.
Oh, they were trying to get it to catch on hard.
Yeah, they used it at times it didn't make sense, and along with the times that it would. And you're just like, man, I get it. I get that you want me to repeat this, and I'm not going to do it just because of that. It turns out there's a amateur sorcerer competition or something. I don't know. Going on Hyrule Castle, so sorcerers all over the land are getting invitations. Ganon finds out and disguises himself as an amateur sorcerer. He goes there, and he wants to create a diversion so he can go steal the Triforce, which is being guarded by Link. So another guy who had a lizard, Ganon secretly zaps it and turns it into a big old dragon. So Link comes out of the tower, to try to save the day. He doesn't really. I think Zelda really is the one that stops it, of course. So this is the funny part. The Triforce of Wisdom is way up in this tower. If you think about a castle, think about one of those big towers way up there with the pointy top. He climbs in through the window when you're seeing the inside of the room, and I'm like, did Ganon literally just hand and feet climb up this dang castle all the way up the tower and crawl through the window to grab this Triforce, and nobody noticed?
Well, we see later that Ganon can float, that he has a spell that lets him float. So my assumption is he's used that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I want to think so, but I also just like the idea that you see this dude just climbing up the side of this castle.
Just a giant pig man climbing the side of a castle, yeah.
And everyone's kind of looking around, they're like, huh, well, that's weird.
I could just see that
just
as a King Kong situation. He's holding Zelda in one hand. He turns into a giant Ganon.
Like some of the guards there, just like, oh, I really don't feel like working today. That's not my problem. They just kind of ignore it.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like there are any guards there at all. It literally seems like really Link's the only person there protecting the place.
The only people that live in this castle are Link, Zelda, and Sprite. And that's all I think you see throughout the entire, at least the 3 episodes we watched. They're the only ones we see that look like they actually live there.
Yeah, I don't even think we see like people on the streets or anything.
No, we don't. The only time we see other people is during this competition where the sorcerers
that's
come.
Right, yeah. So apparently a lot of magic users live there. So what I liked about, what Zelda did was when she was holding this magic competition, like there were sorcerers competing and stuff, or just like amateur ones competing. And the first one, and this is something I liked about this episode a lot, was he used this like spell to make this vegetation grow. Like he says he uses it on his farm or something, and it makes his tomato grow huge. And it just seems like a throwaway thing. And then she's just like, basically like next or whatever, because the tomato explodes and gets all over her. And then later on, she has this like, I guess, vine seed or something with her, and she puts it in the ground and then has him use that spell again on the vine seed. And that's what makes that grow and gives them the ability to get to the place they're trying to get to, which, what did they use that for again? I can't even remember where the vine went.
Wait, didn't they they made a catapult with
that's right. They launched from the vine. That's right.
They made a catapult. Zelda constructed the catapult. It was all her idea because, so Ganon gets the Triforce. He's running out the castle, and Link immediately is like, oh, it's too late. We'll never stop him. And he just gives up because Link sucks. And Zelda's like, no. And then, has them grow the vines from that pumpkin or tomato or whatever. Creates catapult, they get in it, and they launch themselves past where Ganon is so that they can intercept him on the road. So again, Zelda's the hero of this thing, man.
Well, it's true. And this is a situation where, Link hits the ground first, and then Zelda falls on him as cushioning, and then he's like, looks like I saved your life again, kiss me.
All the time, dude, like... I don't think this would go over as well these days. If this was like a brand new show on TV, they would be like,
No, there is obvious sexual harassment going on.
A lot of it.
As Ganon's trying to escape, one of the parts that made me laugh was like he summons all these skeletons, or I can't remember what he was calling, like Stalfo or something. I don't know what their names are in the game.
The skeletons are the Stalfos.
Stalfo. Okay, yeah. Like they're getting beat by Link and Zelda, and so he's showing him what made me laugh is when he's trying to show them how to fight him, and he starts
he's like shadow boxing.
Yeah, shadow boxing.
Like, do it like this. Link pulls the move here though, where he's just like, oh, we gotta fight back to back. So he takes off his belt and wraps Zelda like against him, back to back, but like he uses that to his advantage later when after the fight and he spins around and she's like, stuck, pressed up against him, and he's just like, kiss me.
Yeah, kiss me and then I'll let you go. Like he's
God,
literally
Link so
holding her
much.
against her will, and luckily Sprite comes in and saves the day.
Yeah, that's the only thing Sprite was really good for, is to keep Zelda from getting molested.
Basically. But I like the way that they stopped Ganon here. Like he goes into his underground tower and they throw a bomb that they had. It blows up, and then that's what brings the Triforce of Wisdom back. And then, that's when we see Ganon go into the evil jar.
He ends up in his jar, as you would. That's where all pigs go.
So the next episode we watched for today's show was Stinging a Stinger, Season 1, Episode 9. And this was the highest rated?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, for some reason.
Okay, and Link rescues an old man named Sleazenose. Yeah, named Sleazenose from attackers in the woods. And as a reward, the old man gives Link a brand new fancy sword in exchange for his old one. Here's okay, so that's the basic description of the start of it, but a question I had was like, the powers that Link is shooting from his sword, are those powers that he has, or is it the sword that uses those powers? But if it's a sword,
straight up the sword,
why would he exchange swords without testing to see if the power worked on his new one?
Well, because he's an idiot. And two, because Sleazenose, just to set things up, Sleazenose is this merchant, and it looks like a group of thugs are harassing him. Link goes and defeats the thugs. Sleazenose says, as a gift, I will give you this sword. It's very ornate looking. I'll just, if you give me your old one, I'll give you this. When Link is apprehensive, Sleazenose says that this sword you carry, the one he's trying to give to Link, will make you something like just unequivocally attractive.
Oh, like irresistible to women.
Yeah, to women. So Link thinking, oh yeah, this will get me all the way to third base with Zelda. If I take this sword, like just doesn't question it, and he's just like, I'll take it.
And so he does. Immediately we see it was a bad move because we hear Zelda yelling, and she is being chased by whatever the flying eyeball things are called.
Eyeballs with wings.
Yeah, and they're just kind of circling around her. Link goes to save her, and instead of his sword actually working and shooting something, it just like bust on him, and it was a dud. So obviously, and so that's all it took to defeat them. Really, like I think they were captured because of that, because they couldn't beat these 3 eyeball things.
Yeah, well, it's because like Link is, and I'm not saying this because I don't like his character in this. In the show, Link honestly is pretty much useless without that sword, because the sword is what has the magic. So yeah, he's like, oh, my sword's broken. I don't have my old one. And Ganon's just right there like, well,
yeah,
let's take him.
Yeah, he just comes in.
And they do. They get captured.
He comes
really
in,
easily.
Takes them. Yep. We also see that Sleazenose was working with those bandits to take this sword so that he could sell it to Ganon.
But he's dumb and tries to swindle Ganon with it, and Ganon is smarter than everybody else in this cartoon, apparently.
Well, I mean, he tries to like swindle him in his own lair at a complete disadvantage. There was nothing that gave him any sort of hint that Ganon would have given him the 1,000 rupees he asked for. But Ganon was so outraged by this ridiculous price that he's just like, whatever, I'm going to take it anyway, and has his minions seize him.
Throws him in the dungeon with Zelda and Link. One thing I liked is, so they got put in that dungeon with Goma, and I was like, oh, fun, we get Goma in here, because Goma shows up all the time in the Zelda games as, one of the big monsters you gotta fight.
Yeah, the big crab monster cool. With the weak point being his eye.
Yeah. So I liked that. So while Zelda and Link are trying to fight Goma, they give Sleazenose something to try to pick locks and get them out of there. And that happens. That's a thing.
Like, as he's picking a lock and they're trying to beat Goma, so Zelda has this rope that she has with her for some reason, and she is, I think it's just like a noose thing. And so she's trying to...
She lassoed it.
Yeah, she lassoed it, and then Link had her, swing around it. And so, she's just kind of screaming as she's being, wrapped around Goma. And while all that's happening, is that when that's when Link hits like this stagtalite and has it fall on Goma and knock him out?
So they get out, and in the meantime, Ganon. Ganon was basically on his way to the castle.
He was going to take the Triforce.
Sword. The others get out and somehow beat him getting there, and also have so much extra time that they're able to go consult with the Triforce of Wisdom, who tells them that they have to defeat Ganon by natural means, and they're just like, "Oh, that means bugs." And
yeah, that was one of my favorite parts, because I was like, "Why? No, not even natural means." She's like, "You have to defeat it with a natural weapon," and it's like, "Oh, yeah. You mean bugs?"
Yeah, that's a pretty big jump.
And what's even worse is Sprite has to explain to them what it actually means. Link and Zelda are just like, "Huh?"
I don't understand why they took Sleazenose with them, like up there, because obviously he was going to try to steal the Triforce, which he did try.
Yeah.
And they caught him.
But I did like that they made him gather the bees and stuff.
Yeah. He gathered up a bunch of bees. They gathered some ants. They made catapults again because they just love catapults, man. They put beehives in the catapults. Ganon, like a day later or something, I don't know, like how he took the scenic route, I guess, is finally coming up the road. Sleazenose runs up and he's like, "Hey, I got the Triforce, like maybe you could take this and forgive me." And Ganon's like, "Cool," opens it, bees, and he gets all, he's not very happy about
opens it, bees.
Link swings in on a vine and just grabs the sword. And it's like not even hard. Like he doesn't even have to try. It's almost like the sword falls into his hand. He just happens to swing by.
Yeah, and Ganon just
more
like
bees at him.
Ganon just like, "I'll zap you good."
And then
yeah, Zelda launches more bees. Ganon just runs off.
Yeah, he runs away. And then Sleazenose. Well, this was weird to me. So now in this point with Ganon defeated, running away, Zelda cheers and demands for Link to kiss her, and then he says something like, "Okay, honey," and then she's immediately just like, "No."
Well, because he
made a pun.
Yeah, she asked him to kiss her, and then he's like, "I'd be glad to, honey," and then she's like, "Ugh, I hate bad puns," and then she just walks away. So he had his chance. This was his one chance, and he blew it. Yeah, and then
poor Sleazenose.
Yeah, Sleazenose tries to take the Triforce, or he does take the Triforce, or what he thinks it is. But luckily, Zelda, being the smart one, has thought ahead, and she hid the real Triforce from him, and instead had Sprite cast a spell on this box of ants to make it, that sounds dumb when I say it, to make it look like the Triforce.
Well, to be honest, it is pretty dumb.
But it was kind of funny. And so we go back to him, and he just opens this box of ants and they're stinging him. So he runs off. And then we get the title of the episode, because Zelda tells Link, she's like, "And that, Link, is how you sting a stinger." Yeah.
Did you notice, like, I guess for whatever reason, Zelda and Link are the only attractive people in this entire world.
Oh, you mean how everybody else is like gross looking? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not just ugly. They're like hideous. Everyone else in this freaking show is hideous.
Like intentionally hideous.
Yeah, like Sleazenose. I mean, he sounds bad enough, but his nose is long and crooked and points the wrong direction.
So I don't get why Zelda's so resistant, because literally she doesn't have many options.
Exactly. It's like, okay, do you want a dude whose nose would get in the way of you being able to even kiss the guy? And could possibly put out an eye of yours? Or do you want the only guy that looks relatively normal?
Yeah, I think third place.
But looks aren't everything.
Third place, honestly, would be either the Moblins or those werewolf dudes with boomerangs. Like, that's how low the bar is for humans or elves in the attractiveness level.
That reminds me of something that I cannot wait to bring up in the next episode. So let's move to that I can talk about it.
Okay, so the last episode we watched for today's show was The Moblins Are Revolting, Season 1, Episode 13. You picked this one, I think?
Yeah, I picked this one just because It sounded like a fun one. It was the last episode of the season and, the entire show. So I thought it'd be kind of fun.
Fed up with Ganon's orders, a Moblin uses the aptly named capture staff to trap Ganon in a bubble and throws him down a bottomless pit.
That's true. That sounds weird, but we'll get there. Okay, the thing I want to bring up is the Moblin's voice cracks me up so hard because the Moblins are these creepy blue, like bulldog pig looking creatures, but he talks like this. Like he sounds like droopy. Oh my God. Like the first time I heard that voice, I almost lost it because I thought that was hilarious.
I love the opening of this one because we get to see these like ninja moblins sneaking into the castle, and these werewolves with boomerangs that I was talking about earlier, they all sneak in successfully into Link's room where Link's sleeping. They easily could have just grabbed the Triforce and ran, but instead, I guess they're going to attack him, but what ends up happening is they're so poorly coordinated that they run into each other and honestly take each other out before Link even has to get up. And I actually, that was a really funny part because then Link's just laying there, so he's like, man, I'm good. Or he wasn't sleeping. I think he was reading a book or something.
Yeah, he was just reading a book, and like he almost, like he sat up in bed, but that's all he had to do because they all defeated each other, and then he just laid back down and kept reading.
Yeah. That's
not the only time that this happens in the episode, which I love that.
Yeah, we'll go into that part. Like I want to talk about it, but I'll wait. So when they go back to the evil jar or whatever, they're literally in there talking to Ganon, and then they're arguing over whose fault it was, and then so Ganon just shocks him unconscious, does his Emperor Lightning, shocks him unconscious. After he walks out, they start kind of discussing how it's not their fault, it's Ganon's fault. They follow his orders, and then they're like, why do we follow his orders? Like, we're better. We could just kick him out. And so they start planning this revolt.
Yeah, and the thing that they use is Ganon has created this new weapon. It's a scepter of some kind, and it can create a bubble around a person that cannot be penetrated whatsoever, unless it touches, like physically bumps into the Triforce of Power. It's the only thing that breaks this bubble.
Right.
And so he tested out on one of the Moblins, and that Moblin's obviously not super happy about it. And once he pops the balloon, that Moblin steals the scepter, does it to Ganon, and apparently they have a bottomless pit in that layer. So they throw, bubble Ganon down the pit. He falls for a very long time, and then that's their chance. And they're like, all right, we're going to do this our way. They open the jar and let out everybody. And this is what's weird to me. They basically end up with an entire army, and they go like they're going to go storm the castle, Hyrule. They've got everyone out there. They got archers. They got flyers with the Croc Rocks or Octorocks.
Octorocks, yeah.
Shoot the
No, sorry.
Stones and stuff.
Octo Bombers, I think they were called in this one.
Octo Bombers. Okay. I mean, they basically have an army. They could take this castle. So I'm like, why hasn't Ganon ever actually tried to use, his whole army instead of sending like 2 or 4 at a time to try to take an entire castle?
Well, that's why the monsters think they're smarter than Ganon, because they kind of are in different ways.
Well, they honestly are.
They're just,
in a way, yeah.
They just are bad at execution. They call themselves, and I like the name of this, like I want this to be the name of something we do one day. They call themselves the Brotherhood of Underworld Monsters.
I love it, yeah.
If we ever start a band, that's what we're calling it. Literally, like you said, Ganon's falling for maybe the episodes are 15 minutes, but he's falling for probably 10 of those 15 minutes and just doesn't know what to do. And he's trying to cast all this magic, but it's magic proof, so it's bouncing back at him, whatever. He can't teleport out of it. You know the drill. And so they all go to start storming the castle. It seems like there are no guards here, like at all. Like they have no resistance. They're just defeating themselves because they're idiots and they can't like successfully climb the castle wall or coordinate well. There's one Moblin, I guess the one who started the revolt, like he's kind of de facto leader, and he keeps doing these things. This gag happens so many times where he'll start to say something like, all right, I want you to use the battering ram and break down the door, or when I say whatever, start, take the battering ram, break down the door. And they're like, okay, we're going to do it right now while he's still on top of it. And that's kind of the gag is like, while he's explaining it and telling them what they need to do when he says the word, they just start doing it anyway. And I liked that it was all these like merman dudes. I can't remember the name of them in the.
Yeah, those were the Zora.
Yeah, Zora, right. And they have this battering ram. And it was funny because they start taking it towards the castle door, but they're so far away from it that by the time they reach it, because they started too early, they're all tired out and they just kind of bump it a little bit and collapse.
Yeah, they just barely tap it and they just kind of fall down and like they're like out of breath and everything. Yeah. That was good. That was a good one. Yeah. I liked that a lot.
There were a few really good gags and really good jokes in here.
But yeah, it's another case of the bad guys start beating themselves again. Like we talked about earlier with the Octobombers or whatever are overhead. They would be firing stuff down at the castle, but the archers on the other side loose their arrows and kill all of them. And it's just one thing after another. They all end up taking themselves out once again. Like, again, Link and Zelda don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I think they're about to do something, and then Zelda's like, don't bother, because just look.
Yeah, just watch it.
And then Link's like, yeah, these dimwits are beating themselves. And they were.
Yeah.
And so they keep falling over. They start fighting each other. And then one of the Moblins gets shot into the castle because, again, it's like when I say the word, launch the catapult. And they just hear the launch the catapult part. And so they launch him while he's standing on top of it on this rock into the castle. And that's when this Moblin explains to Link and Zelda like what they've done, like how they've revolted against Ganon and how he's gone and they took over. And so they're just like, awesome. Like, let's just walk to the castle, walk to Ganon's dungeon or whatever, and take the Triforce of Power. Like, we don't have to do anything. These guys, we don't even have to worry about the impending army that's in front of our castle. They're taking themselves out. So let's just leave and we'll be back and we'll be fine.
Yeah, that was pretty easy. They're just like, all right, well, let's just go. And what's interesting too is they're like, oh yeah, good thing there's a secret passage from our castle pretty much straight to Ganon's lair. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
How convenient.
You think that's something you would want to board up at least.
Yeah.
But whatever. They get all the way there, and Ganon, as he's falling, I forgot, did you mention the balloon already?
No, not yet.
Ganon, as he's falling, is just like, oh yeah, I'm a sorcerer magician guy. I can make balloons. So he makes a balloon, and it starts lifting him back up out of this bottomless pit. Gets all the way out just as Link and Zelda are getting there, but he can't burst the bubble yet, but he deflates his balloon. And Link, of course, decides now is a good time to be an idiot and starts like bouncing Ganon around in the ball, and of course throws it at Zelda, who is trying to get the Triforce, and it hits the Triforce and releases Ganon. Because, again, Link is a moron and the worst character.
Well, here's the weird thing. Like, I don't know if he just came around from the start of the season to the end of the season, but somewhere when they were talking about how they were just going to take the Triforce and then they'd be able to, have Hyrule be at peace forever, he kind of says under his breath, he's like, and I'll be out of a job. And so he's like sour over this. He's sad that this adventure is going to be over. And so, in a way, he kind of maybe not intentionally set up, but subconsciously he set this up for failure, and he's not disappointed that they weren't able to get.
Yeah, he's just kind of like shrug. Yeah, if Link had Twitter at the time, you would see a hashtag sorry not sorry.
Yeah,
at the bottom of his message.
He doesn't want world peace as long as he can have a job and fight Ganon's evil forces, I guess.
And of course, Zelda's super angry about it, and he tries to get a kiss again, and she's like, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And that's how the series ends, with Zelda incredibly angry at Link. Link ruined the day and let Ganon free. Sounds just like the games.
Like, I understand why they did it, but to me, it reminds me of like a bad game of D&D or just maybe a bad roll, where you're like, all right, we're about to save the day. We're about to do this thing. We're in this dungeon. We've beat the last boss, or we've got him like beat. All we have to do is finish this last roll, and somebody rolls a 1. And that's basically what happened there.
Yeah, it's just it was pretty bad. And Link is the one player that every D&D session has that just causes problems, and it makes everyone roll their eyes and you're just like, ugh.
He's just chaos. What is it? What chaotic? Not chaotic neutral. Chaotic.
He's probably chaotic. Well, I guess he would be chaotic good.
Chaotic good. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has good intentions,
man.
but he just makes real bad decisions.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I know why they did it, so they could extend the series, because like if they stopped it right there and they got the Triforce, had they known it was going to end right here, I'm sure they could have just made it end and gotten the Triforce and been at peace. But they're like, no, we need to carry it on for more seasons. So they're like, okay, well, we'll just make Link do something stupid.
We'll just let Link be Link.
One thing I want to do before I go into our reviews is I wanted to read this review that I saw on IMDb that made me laugh.
Okay.
So this one's a 1 out of 10. The title of it was crap, ... What it said was, why would you even like such a thing? I mean, seriously? That's it.
That's it, huh?
1 out of 10. Yeah.
That's perfect. I like that.
Yeah. So
1 out of 10.
Well, Chris, looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to the land of Hyrule to try and swindle Link out of all his quest gear. Then after they become the new heroes of Hyrule, see what they thought of the show, The Legend of Zelda.
I love the Zelda games, but now I see why they use her name on everything instead of Link. Because he's kind of stupid and not really a hero at all. He causes most of the problems in the first place. So I gave this cartoon 3.5 bowls of wisdom cereal out of 5. And Zelda's my new girlfriend.
You know, as a fan of the video game series, I came into the show a little resistant, thinking it wasn't going to do the games any justice. However, once I detached it from the games, since it was only based off the first one anyway, it really kind of worked for me. I enjoy the character quirks and interactions, the animation was decent, the sound effects added in were a nice bonus, and I appreciated that they really tried to bring in a lot of the enemies from the game, even if only briefly. Overall, I'd give The Legend of Zelda 3.5 big bowls of Ice Ship Link and Sprite cereal out of 5, and while it's definitely not perfect, I think it was a fun, possibly underrated product of its time. In closing, I guess I kind of don't get why Ganon keeps that evil jar closed all the time, if he could literally storm Hyrule Castle with a full force of monsters. I mean, Link is lazy and Hyrule Castle isn't even well defended, those ninja moblins broke in his room with 0 opposition. You know what? Sorry, Ganon, back to the bubble for you. I'm in charge now.
You know, I could think of a lot of other uses for such a jar. You know, why does it have to be the evil jar? I mean, he could put coins in it
Yeah.
and eventually save up for a nice little day of treating himself.
Save up for
good.
Save up for the spa, the Hyrule spa.
Yeah, or like he could use it to make overnight oats. Like, you know, but he's gonna have to clean it out. He's gonna get all the moblin grease in there. It's gross.
Right. Got to get all that evil out of there. Got to scrub it good.
Yeah, it leaves a residue.
I'm wondering, like, why, if everyone goes right back there after they're defeated, is there a recharge time before they can come back out of the jar? Or if you left the jar open and on its side, could they literally just like crawl back out? And if that's the case, why not just bring the jar with you to Hyrule Castle, lay it on its side, and then as the enemies are defeated, they're just going right back in. So it's just recycling them. There are so many things that they could have done with this jar. He really wasn't thinking through.
Joseph.
Yes.
You're too smart to be reviewing this. You need to stop. You're too smart. And because you're too smart, give me your final thoughts so that we can keep people from getting ideas.
Right. Yeah, you know what? Like, as much as we're making fun of it, I really did enjoy this show on my whatever viewing this is. I'd never seen some of these episodes of it, so it was fun to watch those. And there were things I found that I really liked about it. I could see it appealing to kids just because it's kind of goofy and there's a lot going on. And then doesn't really have like a super adult appeal to it, but there are some jokes that really stuck with me and it really did make me laugh. So I appreciated them. Link was kind of the weak spot in the whole thing, but at the same time, I think it's because they really tried to make him, they didn't have a lot to work with as far as backstory goes, because they were just basing it off this like mysterious character from the first game. And I don't know how much lore was formed at that time.
Not a lot.
Yeah, probably not a lot. So I think that with what they had information-wise, I think they did a pretty decent job. I wish they'd characterized Link a little bit differently, but like I said, I think it was just a product of its time. So if they did it now, they could do a much better job, and maybe they will one day.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it to an extent. I think more just because it's set in the Zelda universe, and because they did make Princess Zelda this like awesome, doesn't really need saving kind of woman. You know, she, like I said, she kind of saves Link several times. She's the one coming up with a lot of the plans. Like, she's an awesome character. She was by far the most likable, the strongest character in this series, and just a great, well-rounded character all around. But yeah, Link is such an unlikable protagonist. I have no idea what made them think that was a great idea to go with. I mean, since in the games, he's just kind of this, like, I want to say blank slate, but he's a force of good in the games. He's supposed to be you imposing your representation of you, but for whatever reason, they're like, I don't know, let's make him a cocky jerk because kids will love that, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like looking at this show, the artists, the composers, the sound engineers must have been fans of the games. I feel like the writers did not really know what they were doing with this often. And I think that's why we ended up with a very short-lived series.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I guess to kind of go off what you were saying, I did appreciate also that Zelda was made into such a strong character. It might not have been like ahead of its time or anything at that point, but it's always nice to see when female characters are pushed into a great position of power, and especially a princess who's got a quote unquote hero who needs to save her. Like, on paper, Link is that person, but in execution, Zelda's the more intelligent one and really, like you said, makes all the decisions that end up saving the day.
Yeah, I think they were going for a Han Solo-ish kind of feel with him, where he's a little cocky, he's kind of rough around the edges. Instead, you ended up with an obnoxious child of a character.
Yeah. So thank you, Dax Longhorn, Bounty Hunter from Space. I appreciate this. I'm glad we got to watch through this much of it. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. It was fun stepping back into it.
Yeah, thanks, Space Cowboy.
Well, listeners, looks like a milk supply is now runs out, so it's time for us to say goodbye. Next week, we'll be watching
Home Movies, suggested via Facebook by Jason Thompson.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this one, especially because we did Metalocalypse so long ago.
Right, and Brendan Smalls was a big part of that, too.
So, yeah, I'm excited for this, for sure.
Once again, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
We'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.